Hello, and welcome to Psychology Demystified. Today's topic was born out of a conversation with someone where they asked me, am I single because I'm too picky? But my question to this person was, why do you think there's such a thing as too picky? Pickiness is actually really necessary for relationships to some extent. But there's a fine divide between healthy pickiness and extreme pickiness. I'm not a very huge fan of the term pickiness because it seems to have some negative connotation to it. I would say that pickiness, if we have to use that word, is actually something that's necessary because it shows that you have a wish for certain standards. And that's okay. Everyone should. It's how extreme these standards are that make all the difference. If you are extremely picky, you may find yourself alone. However, if you're not picky at all, then that's when you find that you are in a relationship where it either ends up in a breakup or a divorce, or it just ends up being a really, really unhappy marriage. We find that we can get very picky about our clothes, our hair, our cars, what food we eat, but then we end up being a lot less picky when it comes to romantic partners who we're going to give our hearts to. So how do you know which end of the spectrum you're on when it comes to pickiness? If you're extremely picky, you probably come with a preconceived, predetermined, pre-vetted list of qualities that someone should have. If you're extremely picky, if someone doesn't fulfill almost all of these qualities, then you find that you're not satisfied with who they are. Sometimes this all or nothing attitude could be considered rigid, and that could definitely be standing in your way. Extreme pickiness involves the search for someone who is flawless. It involves focusing on comparison and negative traits, and it's devastating when it comes to you searching for loving, enduring relationships. If you are someone extremely picky, then there's a likelihood that you're the type of person who disqualifies someone from the race simply on the basis of their height, their wealth, their hair color, their eye color, where they live. And these are qualities that you hold in high regard and do not compromise on, even though these qualities are actually less vital and less beneficial to you than a quality such as kindness. If I have just described you and you found yourself on the extreme pickiness side, this is not a time for you to panic and think, oh my goodness, I can never fix this. I'll never find someone. You can. It's just that there has to be a conscious effort to push yourself towards the healthy pickiness side. And what does the healthy pickiness side look like? Keep watching. In order to be on the healthy pickiness side, you need to learn to be more flexible, which means that you need to try to adapt to a more accurate picture of what reality is. Healthy pickiness is manifested in 4 different ways. Number 1, look for a suitable partner instead of a perfect partner. Leo Tolstoy actually said, if you look for perfection, you'll never be content. These are important words to remember. When giving someone a chance to be able to even get to know you, a lot of people go with a gut feeling. But when someone is being extremely picky, what they do instead is that they focus on the points and the traits and the features that a person does not have as opposed to what they do have. And this could be considered harmful in some ways because then you end up trying to look for perfection. The main thing you should be looking for is for someone who is imperfect, just like all of us. Imperfect, but suitable for you. So let them be perfect for you, warts and all, and they will consider you perfect for them, warts and all, because you have warts too. You are not perfect. Number 2, focus on deal maker and deal breaker traits. Creating a checklist of desired traits in a partner is a very common thing for people to do. If you're hanging out on the extremely picky side, then there's a likelihood that you have this list that is an uncompromising list where someone has to meet all the standards. But when creating this list, instead of focusing on the qualities that someone should not have, maybe it's better to aim towards trying to choose a few essential traits that are significant to you for thriving love and enduring love, and then maybe have about 5 deal breaker traits which then would disqualify someone completely. When choosing a romantic partner, let's have our lists stop focusing on things that someone cannot change, like their height and their eye color, but instead have the list focus on things such as generosity and respect and wisdom and attraction, a sense of humor which is unfailing in all times, as opposed to whether they have a fat bank account, because that one can be acquired later in life. But how great would it be to have someone who has a fat bank account, but who can make you laugh at the same time? Prioritize. Choose things that someone comes with no matter what size, no matter what weight they are, or no matter what height they are. Follow your intuition, follow your gut feeling, but accompany this with rational considerations as well. A positive gut feeling is so similar to love at first sight. In both cases, there is this undeniable positive perception of each other. So yes, follow the butterflies, follow the gut feeling, but in the same breath, always consider that there are long-term factors that you need to take into consideration. Harmful pickiness gives absolute and complete priority to the heart, for example, in sexual attraction, or it gives it to the intellect, for example, when you're dealing with a very rich person. But healthy pickiness, on the other hand, considers both the heart and the intellect, but then it gives the heart priority in choosing which romantic direction someone should go in. Aim for someone where you bring out the best in each other. There is a quote by Elizabeth Barrett Browning where she says, "I love you not for what you are, but for what I am when I am with you." Look for someone who brings out the best in you and who makes you feel good about yourself. And hopefully you do the same for them. So as you go out there and wonder whether you're picky, try and aim to be healthily picky. Find someone who is not perfect, but great for you. Find someone who brings out the best in you. Find someone who wants to grow with you. Find someone who you see potential in. Find someone who you have a great positive gut feeling about. Because at the end of the day, even if someone is wise and beautiful or handsome and rich, we still may not be attracted to them. But we can, to a certain extent, nurture our hearts in order to fulfill and to get what we want. So yes, be picky, but be healthily picky. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to be kind because you really don't know what someone is going through. And to you, hugs and kindness always. Go out there and be picky.